G'day everyone, Greg here from Fishplay Films and welcome back to the BNSF Birdwood Subdivision. Yes, well, we finally moved on from plaster rocks to the next thing, and that's doing a bit of greenery. So we have got ourselves a static grass applicator. This one is from War World Scenics, and there we are. They're an English company in the UK, and I looked at many static grass applicators. From $30 on eBay to $400 knock ones and Woodland Scenics and stuff like that. And I decided to go somewhere in the middle because I didn't want a cheap one because when you're starting something new, you don't want poor tools because you have no idea on how things should work. So if you buy a cheap tool and you're trying to learn something, your results might not be any good. So I figure somewhere in the middle is the go. And these applicators are really well made. They're about, I think about 60 pounds, but I got a kit. So I got some grass and I got the applicator, quite a lot of grass actually. And the actual tool itself is well made, and look, it's just a plastic, like all of them really, a plastic tin with a stainless steel sieve on it. Now this has the medium sieve. If you go up to their next model, you can get a super fine sieve and a coarse sieve. But this one does grass from 2 millimeters long to 6, I think, and that's enough for me. The small grass does come out quite fast, so you really need to have it. If you're doing a small bit, shake it on an angle. If you do it like this, it just falls out. So that's the only thing. But handle's really nice. It's sort of a soft sort of touch hand. Doesn't feel like you're holding a bit of pipe. Has a illuminated switch there. Be careful I don't zap myself. Haven't zapped myself yet. They comes with a big warning if you've got heart conditions or something, don't use it. But anyway, haven't zapped myself yet. And 9-volt battery goes in here. And they call this the ProGrass Micro. And I don't know, it's not that micro to me, but anyway, this is their smaller version. And for those of you who don't know static grass, this creates a static charge. You put the ground lead down to wherever you're putting the grass on the layout, and you stick that in the glue, and the grass falls out. It has a charge with it when it hits the bottom. The return path of the conductor, the ground conductor, wants to get back up to the machine to complete the circuit, and the static charge pulls the grass up, but not out of the glue, which is pretty cool. Even if you put this really close, and I have found with this one, you really need to have it quite close to get the best results. And even if you hold it right, almost touching the grass, it stands the grass up, but it won't pull it out. So maybe they should call these Viagratrons or something, you know, makes things stand up. What? I can't say that? No, I can't say that. Anyway, so that's what it is. I like this one. And Aussie dollars was 100 something bucks here delivered. And that's pretty good. They got me a lot of grass. And yeah, I think it's a good value for money. So let's get into it and see how we apply some grass, try some different glues, different ratios of glues, and show how I found the best way to put the grass down. Let's get into it. This job I'll be using War World Scenics Wild Meadow 6mm and their Summer 2mm turf. And I'll be trying a few different glues, full strength Mod Podge, some watered down PVA and straight PVA. Now first of all we're going to put down some 2mm, what's this, Summer. Quite green, it's got a little bit of yellow and stuff with it, so that's good. One thing I have found is you always use more than one colour when you're putting grass down. Even if it's this nice bright green, it's got a little bit of yellow in that in it. And yeah, because grass is never always one colour. So I've used more than one colour throughout here. So we'll try this first. And I always put the shorter grass down first because then it doesn't have to fall through the longer grass. So we put the shorter grass down first, and then we'll put a mixture of a couple of colours of our 4mm. Okay, now what I have found is this is PVA 3:1. And I'm actually going to put even less water in this because it does run. You see it running down here. My God, what's happening? Well, we're going to have to put some grass in there now. Now, a lot of people use a flat brush and brush it like that. You tend to sort of spread it out and get ridges and everything in it, I think. I think dappling it like this is a better alternative. Look what I've done here. It's amateur hour, I tell you. Now we'll use our Mod Podge. Whoa! And look at that, the old wet finger comes in handy again. What a versatile tool. Now the Mod Podge is very expensive, probably almost 5 times the price or more than PVA, and that PVA is too runny. So we will we'll change that. Okay, so we're actually doing it with your fingers pretty good. I've been told that a couple of times. Ooh, there goes the G rating. Okay, so I'm going to leave this little bit through here so we can do some blending afterwards. But anyway, less talk, more worky. Once you put a small amount of grass into the applicator, attach the ground lead to the layout. Now you can either drive a little nail in and clamp it to that, or if you're working in small areas like this, you can use a bit of wire and just touch it onto the glue. Also, as you can see there, it's probably a good idea to do it away from where you want the grass to fall, otherwise it beads the glue up. Also, you may notice the grass wasn't standing up very well. That's because the amateur doing it didn't have the machine turned on. So halfway through this section I found the on switch, and it certainly made a difference. Now this stuff goes everywhere, and the finished look will be rather different and a lot neater than what it is now. Right, now we're changing over to Wild Meadow 6 to put a little height into it. Also, I think if you pick a spot away from, whoa, a bit of thunder, away from where you want to go, where you put the probe, because it tends to muck the glue up a bit. Okay, so that 6 is standing up lovely there, as the bishop said to the stripper. Now what you can also do is put the prober in somewhere and just go over the grass and get it to stand up if you're not happy with the way it is. Now to me that green is a little bit too green. It might be right if you're in England or in the UK where it's really wet and really, really green, but to me it's a little bit artificial, especially for this sort of area here. But I do like the Wild Meadow 6mm. You can see this lovely, just off green and little bits there, and that actually goes with the other green really nicely. So that's not bad. I'm quite happy with that. I think what I would probably do is put that really, it's only 2mm long too, that really bright green. I would probably put this green, the real bright green, mix it in with some 4mm of the Wild Meadow or Patchy, which is similar sort of off-green colour. And it would tone it down a bit, and you'd get probably a little bit more realistic. If you're modelling England or even Switzerland, you know, where the grass in Austria and Germany, where the grass is crazy green, possibly, but it's a little bit too green for my liking. Also, do not be concerned about the glue, the white. That will fade as the glue dries. That's one of the reasons why I bought Mod Podge. They say, oh, it dries clear, but so does PVA. So we'll see. We'll see which one performs better on the grass, and I'll make a decision down the track. Okay, this is a mixture of the 2mm really green and the 6mm, was it Wild Meadow? So I'm just I'm doing both at once here. See how we go. Sometimes the grass tends to stay a little clump like that, and you're shaking the remains of the applicator, and it's still rolling around the ball. I did hear somewhere where they say it's a good idea to sieve it. Sieve the grass first, like you would flour, and that breaks it all up and makes it fall easier through the sieve. So I'm going to get some little sieves and give that a go. Now, a few things I've learnt along the way so far is, one, always make sure you paint underneath the grass a sort of darker colour, so you don't see the plaster shine through. Even some here I left a little bit of the plaster around, and you can see it just poking through there, and that's a bit of a giveaway. Also, when you're done, you'll note there's grass everywhere. You use a lot more than, you shake out a lot more than what gets glued down. So what you do is you get your vacuum cleaner and you put a stocking over the end so you can catch all the grass and reuse it. Now, hold the stocking tight over the end like that, because if you don't do that, the vacuum cleaner sucks it up and it's gone. So hold the stocking like that. Also, if you've got a where are we? Hold it like that. Also, if you've got a little doobie on your vacuum cleaner that you can reduce the suction, do that as well. Now, what you don't do is you don't come along as soon as you've glued it and start vacuuming up all your grass, all your loose grass, because what happens is when the air is getting sucked up into the vacuum cleaner, of course it just doesn't go straight up the tube, it gets sucked up from all around, and the air folds the grass over. So you can see this here, all the grass is flattened out because I started sucking up all the loose grass, and the other stuff just got folded over in the wind or in the suction. So leave it for a few hours, even till the next day. You can see this grass here, I really like this stuff coming through here. That's patchy 4mm, I think it is. Yes, this is War World Scenics grass. Patchy 4mm, it's got a couple of colours in it, and I really like that. That was glued down, and I didn't come back and suck the remaining grass with that till the next day. And the difference between that and the other one is huge. So resist the temptation to clean the grass, the excess grass, off straight away. Leave it for at least a few hours. Otherwise, when you bring the old vacuum cleaner across, you will fold over all the other grass. Once the glue is dry, vacuum up the excess grass, and this will improve the look of the scene. Okay, we're going to vacuum up the excess grass now. So remember to hold the stocking so it doesn't get sucked up into the vacuum cleaner, and don't get it too close to the grass. Now you may notice there's not a lot of grass being sucked up there because someone did actually do it and forget to press record on the camera. So this is a cheat. Right, okay, what you'll find at the end, you'll have something like this. And you can just take that out of there, get yourself a container. And chuck that in there. So this container is my odd sods, and if I just want to do a little patch somewhere, I can use all these different colours, and it doesn't give a bad result. Well, I think that's pretty good for a first attempt with these different grass. And I don't know if you realise, but when I applied this short green stuff, I didn't have the applicator turned on. Because when you grab the handle, sometimes you push the switch. So that's why some of this stuff is a little bit fallen over. You probably noticed the 6mm that stood up, where the green was just sort of flopping down there. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea if they had a little... I'll get my hand out of the way. If, as well as having the switch there, it'd be nice if they had a little tiny little beep that was going. You know, nothing too crazy, just a little beep, so you could know that the actual machine is on when you're using it, because, get my hand out the way there, because you can't keep turning it up and down to look at the switch because your bloody grass goes everywhere. So anyway, maybe that's one thing. War World Scenics, you could maybe think about putting a little beeper on there. Not too loud, but anyway. All this stuff through here, this is, well, Sculptor mold, but we just call it Sculpt It down here. It's an Australian product. I've done a video on that. And it's just painted with some brown washes. And I need to go through them and get some dirt and sprinkle bits of dirt around through here. But I think it doesn't do a bad job, really, just for if you do it rough and leave some indents in it like this, it actually looks pretty good without putting any dirt on and other little, but I do need to put some small rocks and dirt on there. So, but apart from that, it doesn't look too bad for a newbie's attempt at scenery. I'm sure there's lots of tricks that you need to learn with this static grass, and of course the more I do, the better I will get at it. Turning the machine on is probably not a bad start. Well, there you have it. What an interesting little trip down the static grass road. It's funny when you view it from this angle and look up, all the grass is actually, most of the grass is standing straight up. But when you're looking at it from the top, it looks like more patchy. But looking from down here, it looks totally different. So you get a funny perspective. But it certainly is all standing up, and say lots more to learn, a few more tricks to do. As I say, turning the machine on, that's a good start. And of course I need to put some, little rocks and bushes and stuff like that. So much to learn. But anyway, I really do like the static grass. I think it's one of the best inventions since we had DCC. I've been modelling for 40 years, and probably DCC was the biggest new invention. And I have to say, I think static grass is probably one of the others that's really revolutionised how we do things. So, plaster and moulds and other stuff been around for a long time, and wire trees and all that, but static grass has really changed the way we do our landscapes, I think. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with some more scenery tips when I learn some more. And we'll carry on with this scene here. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hooroo for now. Bye-bye.